Hello, race fans, and welcome once again to another high-octane episode of Trackside, proudly presented by Document Technologies. Document Technologies provides a comprehensive range of managed solutions, including multifunction devices, managed print services, and document management software. They're also known for their fast service, boasting an average response time of 2 hours or less, and offer high-quality product multifunction devices alongside document management and cloud hosting software. Stay tuned, racing enthusiasts, because the action starts right now, right here on Trackside.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Trackside. I'm Terry Turner alongside Randy Dye. And Randy Dye, we roll into Labor Day weekend. And I think we both have in our hearts a big salute to all the folks that work and make this country go round and round. I think you'd agree with that one, huh?
Oh, my goodness. We have to acknowledge all the different types of workers, people who make the world go round. It's actually just mind-boggling. And you know, I think the other thing is that everybody knows how important people who care at doing what they do, what a difference it makes in the experience that you have. So I salute Labor Day. We try around here to acknowledge our people all the time, and we just I think it's a great. America works about more than just about any other country, so it's not an accident. I know that some of the European countries take a very long time off.
Yes,
and then they come back and go at it. But hey, happy Labor Day.
Right, and so I'm going to mention the weather a little bit as we go into the local, but can I tell you about the dream that I had the day before yesterday?
Sure.
Okay, so we know we're in the rainy season in Florida, and thankfully, you know, we had a little bit of issue at Daytona this past weekend with weather, but we got the races in and all that, and later we're going to talk about some more Ram news, but I dreamed that at Volusia Speedway Park, New Smyrna Speedway, and of course Five Flags, that there were like thousands of people there, and they all had umbrellas with them, you know, just in preparation in case it rained, but they were all Ram umbrellas.
There you go. That's a good idea. Yep.
What do you think? I mean, you know, they were all like a red and with white lettering, Ram trucks, umbrellas. So anyway, just you know, as I get older, Randy, I have some weird things happen, so that's just part of it, I guess. But anyway,
I think you need to have more in your day, Terry. Maybe it's fiber you need. I don't know, but you need more in your day to be able to, you know, to control those dreams a little differently.
You think? Okay. Well, I won't get into all the things that my wife says to me every morning to get me motivated, but anyway, Randy, and our age group, and as long as we've been doing this show, sometimes we got to cover some not so wonderful news, but we do have some sad news about a wonderful individual, though. Forrest Lucas, husband, father, grandfather, and pioneering self-made businessman, philanthropist, and founder of Lucas Oil, passed away peacefully on August 23rd at the age of 83. So I know you're very familiar with, of course, anybody that loves racing and cars are very familiar with Lucas Oil and, you know, big sponsorship and everything at NASCAR. But I don't know if you knew this individual or not, but he certainly, you know, you talk about working people, and, you know, here's an example of a working guy who started a business and made an impact really on the world. So salute to him. But your thoughts on that one?
Well, I did not know him personally, but certainly know of him and know of the work that he has done, and is which is really remarkable, and how long he's been in, not only in our sport but in other sports, and what he's done for communities around the country. So, you know, a life well lived, that's for sure.
Yes, there's absolutely no doubt about that. It's just amazing, some of the people that, just not only just in racing, but racing big time. All these great people like Penske and all the great things that are being done. So, again, kudos and thoughts and prayers to the family for sure. With that, let's just roll right into it. We have a lot to cover tonight, some cool news for sure. So let's roll into the local section of Trackside.
One Daytona, located across from the world's center of racing, is proud to present our local segment, where we talk with a local star in your part of the country following a big win, event preview, and much more. One Daytona in Daytona Beach is a vibrant destination offering an array of shopping, dining, and entertainment options, including unique events and live music suitable for families and individuals alike.
Lots of racing this weekend, weather permitting. Volusia Speedway Park with the Labor Day Classic featuring Test and Tune tonight. 3/4 modified, 602 late models, 604 late models, dirt car factory stocks, and dirt car UMP modifieds tonight through Sunday. And tomorrow night at New Smyrna Speedway, the Advanced Auto Parts Family Fun Night featuring sprint cars, $10 general admission. You'll also see Mod Minis, Blackjack Seal Coating Bomber A's, Bomber B's, Florida Ground Pounders, and spectator races. And starting at 8 p.m. tonight at Five Flag Speedway in Pensacola, the Alan Turner Pro Late Models, Pro Truck, Sportsman, and Crown Stocks. And it was a great time at the Daytona International Speedway as NASCAR was home with the Xfinity guys on Saturday night. Connor Zillage starts the race, then turns it over to Parker Clearman in the 88, and he does get the win. It was a typical Saturday night under the lights at the Daytona International Speedway with the big one that seems to always come after the smoke clears. Ryan Blaney gets the win. And the trucks will be at Darlington Saturday at noon on Fox Sports 1. The Xfinity guys are in Portland. That happens on Saturday at 7:30 on CW at the Portland International Speedway. The Cup cars take the track on Sunday at 6 p.m. at Darlington on USA Network. That begins the playoffs, the round of 16. The Xfinity playoffs begin at Bristol. That's on September 12th. The trucks playoffs begin tomorrow at Darlington. All right, some good stuff right there. And just let me stop there and ask you, how was your Daytona weekend? It's always great to have NASCAR back in town. Creates lots of excitement, as it always does. Great crowds. Did you have a good time?
Well, it was busy. We had a lot going on, and one of the things the NASCAR Foundation did on Saturday was to be able to give away their several-month-long, I don't want to call it a raffle, I guess we'd call it an event, a fundraising event. They gave away a Fox Factory Performance Vehicle Chevrolet truck modified by Fox, and it was really, really good, very successful. That was fun. Obviously, we hosted the announcement of the team for Ram for the next coming years in NASCAR, and the welcome back. That was very good. We had the race on Friday night. Saturday night, the chief marketing officer for all of the Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram brands was here all day, and so he and I spent the entire time together, picked him up at the airport, and after the race, he went his way. Then on Sunday, we had our March to Stop Suicide event down at the Space Center, and that was very successful. So when I tell you it was busy, it was busy. There was a lot going on, and but really all very well. And this was almost as busy for me as it was during Speed Weeks. It was just so much happening, but. The good thing is they got some races in. They were good races, and it's good to see that for sure.
Yep, no doubt about it. Looked like great crowds, and again, lucky to get the weather. And you kind of built a bridge for me right there. So let's with that, we'll delve into a little further. Let's go into the truck section of Trackside, and we'll see what's going on with college racing.
The Tough Trucks of NASCAR are next up on the agenda, presented by Aaron Delgado and Associates. With over 110 combined years of experience in criminal defense and personal injury, Aaron Delgado and Associates takes pride in vigorously representing clients in various challenging legal situations within the community. Now, let's go trucking.
Randy, I'll let you comment on this one, but Colleague Racing is poised to field up to 5 Ram 1500 trucks in the NASCAR's Craftsman Truck Series starting February 13th, 2026 at Daytona. So it is official. They are named anchor team for the Rams' return. No Rams on the track as far as NASCAR since February 13th of 2026. Excuse me. There's no Rams since 2012. If I can learn to read, Randy, I'm really working on it. My glasses fogged up. I think that's what it was. But no NASCAR since 2012. We're all extremely excited and pretty awesome that Colleague is going to be with 5 teams for the Ram Truck Series and the Craftsman Truck Series in NASCAR. So tell me more.
Well, it's been a long dry spell of not having Ram in the sport, and certainly I would go and include Dodge in the sport for as long as they've been gone. That's a long time to be out of a sport, particularly when you are a muscle car performance-based company that really its DNA is racing and edgy and fun, and that's a long exodus. I've said it many times over those last several years that as far as the sport goes, I love the sport of racing, and we were going to be a part of the sport of racing. That is my family, and no matter what, because I love it. Having our brands back in the sport is a dream come true because, and by the way, we think rightfully so. It's a business model. It's a part of our business decision to be included in the sport, and our fans and our customers are really excited about it so far. They've exceeded that's the support from the NASCAR community and beyond have gone way beyond anybody's expectation so far. So that tells us that there's a lot of pent-up demand. We're very excited, and being able to host the event here in Daytona, last weekend I would never have thought that for sure. Never would have thought that was even close to possible. But it was great. I mean, NASCAR was really great to work with. The colleague organization was fantastic, and our team here at Daytona Dodge was probably the easiest thing that we did the entire weekend, and it was amazing to watch the teams actually cooperating, get stuff done. So it really was a great announcement. I thought Matt Colleague, who is not really the guy out in front, he doesn't do that often, but he was very transparent, I thought, in his remarks and answering questions, and then obviously Chris Rice, who's the president of Colleague Racing, and then you had Ty Norris, who was there. He's the chief business officer of Colleague Racing, and then Nate Bulow, chief marketing officer for all the Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat brands. I don't know how that. I'm not sure he ever sleeps. He is one of the hardest working people that I know, and not only is he hardworking, he's really good.
Well, and the effort is coming through. And we were talking about Lucas Oil and that gentleman and what an entrepreneur. Well, Matt Colleague, same kind of thing. Another entrepreneur and community leader, philanthropist, et cetera. Like you said, not always in the spotlight with Colleague Racing, but still another hardworking guy and a good guy to be working with, and to bring 5 teams with Ram 1,500 trucks back on February 13th. Golly, exciting. You know what, Randy? I think it'll be, in my mind, one of the biggest crowds for the Truck Series to kick off the season again in 2026 that we've seen in a long time. What do you think?
I think that's a very realistic expectation. I believe you're right. There'll be a lot more people in the grandstands than has been in the past, and there's going to be a lot of Ram fans there to support, and we're excited about that. And I wanted to go back to what you said about Matt Collig. You know, the one thing that if you listen to Tim Kuniskis in June in Michigan, he talks about how they're going to do this differently. I mean, every interview he's done, he talks about how they're going to do this differently. And that's the same mentality that Matt Collig has, and Chris Rice. You know, Chris Rice does a weekly interview. He has his own spot on SiriusXM radio with NASCAR, and I don't know of any other presidents in the garage area that does that. They are different, and I will tell you that it takes a different personality, a different philosophy to hook up with Ram and Dodge and all the other brands that are there to be able to do this. Don't misunderstand me. Everybody wants to win, and that is a serious initiative, certainly on the competitive side. I talked to the chief engineer this morning, and that announcement hasn't been made yet. But when it comes, everybody will know who he is, and I'm excited to know that he's on our team. So competition is not taking a back seat, but don't misunderstand it for a minute that there is marketing attached to it. When they made the announcement in Michigan, they had a new bull in the shape of a Hemi engine and a mechanical bull, and I was the third person to ride it. So this is just the way they do things is differently. And so if you're a fan and you go to the racetrack and you dig it, you're going to see a whole new way of thinking with regard to Ram.
Yeah, I think it's going to be even bigger than any of us can imagine, in my mind anyway. Do you have any idea, because I'm going to be asked, you're going to be asked, it's actually already on my screen, any idea when we might have some announcements as far as drivers for 5 teams?
Yeah, I think it'll happen a little bit later. You got to remember that there's driver contracts that are out there and driver contracts that are expiring, and some of the way they're written. So yeah, it'll happen. I mean, there's a lot of different conversations right now about the way to do it. Do we do it all of them at once? Do we do it one at a time? I mean, there's a lot of conversation taking place. Some of that will be definitely contractual, and we'll try to follow, be very respectful to the drivers' contracts that exist. I do want to say too that I've watched this whole process, and I think Collig, he heard this on Saturday. They're planning on competing in the other 2 series with Chevrolet, and so this is not an adversarial, everybody hates each other kind of deal. I mean, they're very tough competitors, but we're not competing. The Collig team is not competing with Chevrolet except in the truck series, and so it's different. So it's a very unique. There's so many unique things about this announcement. It's you can write a book, and maybe one day I'll do that.
That's a good idea. I think you're capable of doing that. Plus, it'd give you stuff to do. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, what a way to roll out Ram 5 trucks, 5 teams for the Ram trucks. Wow, a big challenge and a big splash.
It's really cool. It's a crossroads. When you look at since 2012, that's how long I've been working on trying to get this back. To finally be here and know the number of times we were close before and with who and what and all that, and that would be something for a later conversation. But I love the idea that that the guy that's bringing this to this point, Tim Kuniskis, he's one of the most passionate people you're ever going to find, and I think but he also has an incredible business mind. I mean, I've been interviewed time and time again about, what do I think about Tim Kuniskis this, what do I think about Tim Kuniskis that. And I always say this same thing. The first time I said it, I caught myself. I went, he's crazy, and I had to qualify that and say, but in a good way. And so I've said that many times over, and I think he is. He's crazy, but in a good way. And I want to give you a little bit about who he is. He's the guy who brought the Demon to market. He's the guy who brought TRX. He's the guy who brought Demon 170 to the market. And I can't tell you a whole lot more right this minute, but buckle up, because there's a bunch of cool stuff coming.
Well, you worked awful hard on it and dreamed about it, and we talked about it, and I pestered you about it since 2012. Did you dream it was going to be this? What? Say it again.
No, I said, yeah, you have, relentlessly, actually. So, yes, sir, that's right. You're right.
Well, when you want something to happen, you can't just lay around and wait. You got to be, be pester people. No doubt about that. But to dream it'd be this big, I mean, did you think it? I mean, 5 teams, man. I mean, holy cow, what a way to roll it out. I mean, did you foresee it happening in this big a fashion?
No, I didn't. I would have to tell you that it was really remarkable, and the number is daunting. It's a tremendous amount of work, but I will say I don't want anybody to think it's going to be just 5 teams like you'd normally see it. Just stand by, because that's not the way this is going to go.
Well, let's say five trucks on the same team will definitely have an advantage, yes. And not to mention all the other aspects of it. Randy, I can't remember how many years ago it's been, but speaking of Daytona and going back quite a few years and remembering being in the stands for the Daytona 500 when Trevor Bayne won the Daytona 500, and what a surprise it was, and how awesome it was, and all that. Well, tied to somebody else that Trevor Bayne is going to pilot the Victory Junction Tricon Garage entry at Darlington, tied up with Legacy Motor Club and, of course, Advent Health, and which they're all, big friends of the Petty family and all of that. I got a big picture on my desk of the Pettys, Richard and his son standing next to him, next to the car, which has the number 1 on it. All to benefit Victory Junction. It's a Toyota Tundra, of course. Pretty awesome that Trevor Bayne will be behind the wheel. It'll be fun to see him back on the track.
He's a good guy, and it will be fun. And everybody knows Tricon builds good stuff and competes good stuff. So I would certainly not put it past him to have a great run, even contend for a win.
Well, and again, for a great cause, Victory Junction is a big deal. In the very beginning, they came to towns. Adam Petty visited the Camp Boggy Creek and kind of was all involved when all that came to pass. So a lot of history and kind of history starting in the Daytona area with Victory Junction, and it does a lot of good, Randy.
Yeah, we actually ran a Victory Junction paint scheme here in Daytona, New Smyrna. I ran that car, and I'm you probably don't know this, but I'm a founding member of the Victory Junction gang camp, and they do a remarkable work. It's a long time ago now, obviously, but still have pictures of that car, and I actually have the program of the grand opening of the Victory Junction camp.
Oh, wow.
That very first day. Yep, still got it. It's pretty cool.
Now, that'd look nice framed along some of the other great memorabilia that you've got in your dealership. Just a thought there. No doubt about it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's do this because we got lots more to cover with the Xfinity and Cup Series. And let's go right now, take a commercial break, and come back because, got some exciting news to come up with. So don't go anywhere. You're listening to Trackside.
Introducing the all-new tractor and outdoor power equipment section at DeLand Motorsports and Outdoors. Now you can gear up for your outdoor projects with premium brands like Bobcat, Massey Ferguson, Shindaiwa, Echo, and more. Need a powerful lawnmower for that perfectly manicured lawn? They've got it. How about a rugged tractor to tackle those big projects? DeLand Motorsports and Outdoors has you covered. And let's not forget the Lawn and Garden Center with everything from weed whackers to chainsaws. Commercial or residential, DeLand Motorsports and Outdoors has the goods to keep you moving. So why settle for ordinary when you can have extraordinary? Visit DeLand Motorsports and Outdoors today at their new location and explore the thrilling world of outdoor power equipment. DeLand Motorsports and Outdoors, where the thrill of the ride meets the power of the great outdoors. Your journey begins here.
Welcome back to Trackside as we now take a look under the hood in the NASCAR Xfinity Series presented by Daytona's Garage. Daytona's Garage offers more than just standard dealership customization. They provide a comprehensive range of services for personalizing and enhancing cars, Jeeps, and trucks of any make and model, focusing on both aesthetics and performance with affordability. Reliable service. Now, back to Terry and Randy.
Well, Randy, some good news. And we talk a lot about in the last few weeks the coverage that CW is doing with the Xfinity Series. I want to talk ratings, and really want to talk both Cup and Xfinity Series ratings here, and some comments on it, and anxious to hear your thoughts as well. We've been discussing this. Get this, CW earned $1,092,000 total viewers, $1,092,000 total viewers for Friday's race at Daytona. That viewership was up 33% over last year's Daytona race, and aired on the same weekend. Compared to the 24th race of the regular season last year, the Atlanta viewership was up 36%. Viewership peaked at 1,179,000 total viewers in the closing laps. So let's look at that, and I think we both agree they're just doing a great job, and interest is up, and because of the job that CW does, we got more viewers, etc. On NBC, the rating was 3.29 thousand total viewers for the Coke Zero. That was down from 2024. Not a whole lot down, but somewhat down. So, just thinking again, looking at the Xfinities and series and how much up they are, and the Cup Series off a little bit. That's a huge race at Daytona. Everybody loves to see it. You just got to figure, Randy, again, and I'd love your thoughts. You've been doing this a long time, about confusion on where the race is. I mean, this one was on NBC. I don't know if I was not in this business that I wouldn't have known for sure that it was on NBC, because I saw no promotion or no real talk about it. So, again, still a good, strong 1.76 rating, 3.297 million viewers is good, but a little bit down from last year. Thoughts?
Well, I think momentum comes from consistency, and so I am, I question in my opinion, I believe that the up and down and trying to find and look and search for things creates this. I do. I completely believe that. But, you got to remember something. That's all we know. All you and I know are what the ratings say, and we can speculate on the why, and I think we're pretty close to the right answer on the why. But we don't know what the value, what are they getting, what is NASCAR receiving from those other entities where they kind of piece up this part of the schedule, and from the revenue standpoint, it must be good, or they wouldn't do it. So all we can look at is what's provided out there from the public. I mean, I know, and the NASCAR people are smart. They're great marketers. They're as good as it gets in sports anywhere, in my opinion. So there's more to the story that we don't know. I'm guessing it's revenue. But I think it might be more than that. You look at what they did with Prime, and that's trying to open up another market. And it was a bit of a test. And NASCAR's not afraid to gamble. They're not afraid to do things differently. It's not necessarily status quo at that place. So, but I don't know all of that detail. Maybe we work hard at trying to talk to a marketing person there, and let's get some questions answered. We'll try to do that. Maybe we'll get him on here as a guest.
Great idea. Yeah, because as you said, there's probably more than meets the eye, no doubt about it. I mean, obviously, NASCAR is aware of ratings, et cetera, and they look at it. So, yeah, that's a good idea. Just for the race fans, there's a lot of questions with fans, and hey, we don't want anybody to miss a race. That's for sure, as far as being able to see it. So, Randy, we talk a lot about Chase Elliott, and over the years his issues and bad luck, and so let's talk a little bit about the number 10, Daniel Dye, who has done a great job this year and has had some issues for sure. Got wrecked at Daytona, but I got a 2-page, and forgive me folks for reading a little bit too, but I got a 2-page release in my hand here that came from Chris Rice, and Chris Rice is, of course, as Randy has mentioned, the team president. And Chris Rice has admitted that the Xfinity program has lacked over the last year and a half. Daniel Dye's numbers reflect that with 7 top 10 finishes in the opening 24 races of the campaign. And that's not much different, Randy, than rookie teammate Christian Eckes. So that says something right there. Chris also says it started off really well and we fell off in the middle. And I think Daniel's had some awful luck lately. And I would give him a C. I'd like to see him at a B in the B range. The kid can do it. He's going to go out there. Is he going to go out there and fire off and sit on the poles? Probably not. But he can race well. We haven't given him anything to go off of. We don't have an A.J. Allmendinger sitting in there, somebody to help him or anything like that. We've got nothing. So he's had to figure it out on his own, and he's done a great job. So, I kind of think we've been discussing this pretty much every week as goofy things happen. But Chris Rice himself, recognizing what kind of race car driver and Daniel Dye, and, not being prejudiced here. I mean, he's our local hero. Yeah, he's a local guy and all of that. I've been watching him since he was a little bitty guy, but he is a outstanding race car driver, a smart and mature race car driver, and great to see that Chris Rice has recognized some of the issues, and that Daniel, has not really had, like he had in the truck series, anybody to lean on as far as, help me out. What should I do? Answer these questions. He's had to figure it out on his own, Chris Rice says, and he's done a good job. Your thoughts on that one, Randy?
Yeah, I think when I compare sports, having been a rookie myself many times over in different sports that I've played, there's always a couple ways to go, and one of them is just to find somebody that's a successful veteran that's willing to take you under their wing and help you, and that certainly is, I would say, is the best way. But I don't know that trying to figure it out on your own and is bad either, because you are the responsible party. You win, you lose, you do whatever with based on what you figured out on your own, and you are constantly in that learning mode. I remember when I first started racing, we used to practice with I was not in the top series. I was in the series right below the top, and they used to have us practice together. And I was fortunate to be able to practice with these guys. Would go out and get after it in their practice session, and then the second time around, I'd go, I'd say, hey, are you good? Can I try to follow you and help? Can you help me? And Many times they did that, and I was very, very fortunate to have guys that took me under their wing, even though I was a rookie and competing with them. So it does help, and in this highly competitive industry, I think it's probably the better route. But I also think Daniel has learned a lot working on it, figuring it out on his own. I think Chris, his assessment is pretty good. Just like the Daytona. I mean, Daniel was running the race he wanted to run. At one point he was sixth. He was around, somewhere in the top 15 the entire race, which was part of the plan. And at the end, he got shuffled out. He was all over the back of Justin Allgaier. I think you could see that. He got shuffled out a little bit, then was on his way back up, and 3 laps to go. Not anything he did, but the wreck happened in front of him, and he tried to get the heck out of the way, and the 39 just kept coming down and knocked the front end off of his car. So, other than the last 3 laps, you'd have to call it a pretty successful Daytona.
Absolutely. We were certainly on our feet a lot of the race. There's no doubt about that. So, well, me, I'm an optimist, but reality is reality. You got a couple more races, and if he gets a win, he could be in the playoffs, Randy.
Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, he has to. We got a couple shots at it here in Portland and then St. Louis. So yeah.
Well, and you and I know from doing this show for as long as we have, you can never predict the winner in any race. And, we got all the guys that speculate, and, this guy's going to win, and he's got the best chance and all that. But on race day, and just like we saw at Daytona in both races, things can happen, wrecks can happen. You just never know what's going to happen. Daniel's been extremely good at staying out of trouble and getting through when big wrecks happen around him and making his way through there. So I'm not going to count him out. He could still be in the playoffs.
Well, I think it's really hard to script in a NASCAR race. So there's no telling that anything could happen. I'm not sure that I'm looking that I think it'll happen this weekend in Portland. I mean, it's a road course, and you have the world's greatest road racer on the planet in Connor Zilic in the race. So,
right.
That's pretty tall. That's pretty tall order. But interesting. You mentioned this about the mentorship. He has actually sought out Connor and asked him some questions about the road racing stuff, and Connor's been very he's been helpful. So we look forward to taking his advice and seeing if we can get better as a driver, and hopefully we'll get better in the equipment world.
No doubt about that. Well, with that, we'll shift over to the Cup section of the program. We got a little Connor Zilic news. We got to cover some court stuff first. But anyway, Mr. Mark, let's go right to the Cup section of the Trackside program.
UniFirst presents Conversation about the NASCAR Cup Series, the pinnacle. In auto racing, just like Cup, UniFirst is also the leader of the pack as the uniform and facility service experts. Let's go back to our hosts, Randy and Terry.
Well, Randy, I sent you some information earlier that was kind of speculation. Now I have a press release in my hand. And again, folks, forgive me for doing some reading, but I got to make sure that I get the correct information out there. And it is that NASCAR has an agreement with someone to acquire one of the ownership charters currently wrapped up in active litigation as part of the 2311 and Front Row Motorsports mutual antitrust lawsuits. The sanctioning body filed a legal notice on Monday, and we know they went to court. Let me just side note here that yesterday, I don't have the information yet to be able to lay it out on you folks, so I don't want to do that. But the sanctioned body filed a legal notice on Monday notifying that the court and the two teams that it plans to issue a charter to a redacted entity should the district court judge not issue a ruling to prevent that from happening. So, we all know that legally speaking, 2311 and Front Row gave up their charters that they had held for the past years, and all of that. Big case coming up in December, but NASCAR has been entertaining conversations, as we just said, with teams from other motorsports disciplines and private equity groups to obtain those charters. The district court judge then ruled that NASCAR couldn't move those charters until the decision had been rendered on the matter with that hearing that happened yesterday. I don't have that information at hand. But, lots of speculation as far as who the redacted team is. And I threw this out at you, and you probably go, here's Terry goes again with his dreams. But a lot of folks talking, hey, it could be Junior Motorsports that gets that charter. So, again, it's still up in the air. Decision's not made. Wish I had the information. I could share it with you. We will as soon as we can. Randy, a mouthful there. Your thoughts, sir?
Well, I think I have my doubts as to whether this action actually takes place before the end of the lawsuit.
In December. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, well, or at some point in time, if they settle it before that. There's a lot of different ways for this to end. So but I am, at the same time, I'm not surprised that there is interest in the charters that are available. I'm not surprised at all. I mean, the thing you got to remember is there's now, and I mean, and I'm jumping ahead here a little bit, but the potential for Dodge, the car part, to end up back in the sport exists. So that would make the fourth OEM in the highest level series that they have. But there's a lot more out there, right? So what makes you think that there's not going to be another OEM who might be interested in the charters?
Correct.
I would certainly think they have an interest, and certainly I think Dale Jr. probably would have some interest. The one thing that I'm questioning is it's one charter. I don't think anybody comes to the sport with one charter because that's not enough, really.
No.
So that means to me somebody else has already got one. That wants another one. That's what I think about that. One is a very difficult number when it comes to the sport. There are guys that do it, but one's a tough number. So maybe this is the way that the Jimmy Johnson lawsuit gets settled too. By the way, who knows? I don't know.
Lots of drama. Let me throw some more drama on this one, Randy. Let's just dream out loud that we'd all love to see Junior Motorsports in the Cup Series. Yeah, that would be awesome, no doubt about that. But let's put two things together. If it were to be Junior, then why in the world would he let Connor Zilisch go to drive for Trackhouse, which he will be doing in 2026? Now, he's a development driver for Trackhouse and got the involvement there. But if I'm Junior and I know I've got a charter, am I going to let Connor Zilisch go? Just throwing out a racing question to you.
Well, here's the real deal on that one. Connor Zilisch really belongs to Trackhouse. Yeah. And so Trackhouse is the one who got the sponsor and had Connor run for Junior Motorsports. So they really don't have a lot of choice.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, that settles that one for sure. I knew the tie was there, but like we're just talking about, the drama that we see unfolding in NASCAR, you just never know. It's kind of like predicting a race; you just don't know what's going to happen. No doubt about that. So, anyway, pretty good news. Congratulations to Connor Zilisch to move up. My opinion is I'd like to have seen him run one more year in the Xfinity Series. But, hey, I'm not really a decision maker here. He's a fantastic race car driver. Unbelievable what he's done so far. A lot of folks saying, hey, he's the next Jeff Gordon. So congratulations. What do you think? Is he coming up 1 year too soon, or is he just good enough that he's going to be just fine in the Cup Series?
No, I think he needs to come up, and here's why. Not so much from the standpoint of more experience and all that stuff. The Xfinity car does not drive like the Cup car, and
right.
So it's clear that he knows what he's doing. I mean, he's. I don't think it's even arguable. I think he's the best road course racer in the sport across all of the series. So I think actually having him drive more Xfinity races could hurt him rather than help him. And other than maybe if you wanted to drive the super speedway races just to get more super speedway experience, but beyond that, no. I think if he's got a shot to go to the Cup level, they need to take it.
Well, but they're gonna. It's going to be exciting to see him in the Cup Series for sure. And you mentioned the next gen car. It is quite different. But if you remember some years ago, and again, not lose track, we interviewed a little shy fella that was a truck driver at the time and just getting started, and now he's Mr. Ryan Blaney. And gets the win at Daytona. Very exciting. The Penske guys seem to have the next-gen car kind of figured out, where other folks are still struggling with it. That car came out in 2022, and Joey Logano, both those guys have blossomed. Logano wins the championship in 22 and added a third one last year. Blaney gets the championship in 2023. Some of the other drivers in the garage were going, oh, man, not again. Those guys with Penske have got that car figured out. Well,
they do. It'll be interesting to see when it comes to the 26 championship finale if it's the same at Homestead, because they're obviously very successful throughout the year. But they really have Phoenix figured out, and and I think that's a big deal, and I think it's part of the reason why they moved it. So the car does drive differently. They say the car drives. The characteristics of the car are more like truck than they are Xfinity. If you look at Jesse Love has driven, I don't know, I think a half a dozen races this year so far in a Cup car, and really hasn't had any success.
Right.
And I'm not. I don't know. But it came out of the RCR shop, and So I think there's a lot to learn. And Jesse's in his second full year, in the Xfinity Series. So I think you have to unlearn something to be able to learn something new. And whereas maybe not, if you look at Carson Hocevar, and I'm not saying I'm a big Carson Hocevar fan, but I just want you to see the difference. If you look at what he did in the Truck Series and really didn't race hardly much at all in the Xfinity Series and right to the Cup Series, he's done pretty well. He needs the finishes, but he's in the hunt, and so I think different path and different result for sure.
Absolutely. Fun stuff to watch. Let's close the show. We are going to go into the playoffs with the Cup guys this weekend, and the drivers, in case you don't know yet, are the guys that made the championship: Ross Chastain, Austin Cindric, Austin Dillon, Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott, Denny Hamlin, Ryan Blaney, Chase Briscoe, Christopher Bell, Josh Berry, Joey Logano, Bubba Wallace, William Byron, Tyler Reddick made it, and Alex Bowman both made it. and Shane Van Gisbergen are in there with his wins. So a good group of drivers. Disappointing to a lot of guys that were down to the wire and did not make it. Randy, it's hard to believe, but the playoffs start on Sunday.
They do. I think one of the biggest stories of the playoffs is Kyle Larson going to actually contend? Because you talk about a dry spell since Indy. He's had a rough middle part of the season. So, I mean, you would expect him to, but I would have expected him to for the last couple months as well. I suspect they will get it right, but it's been interesting to watch, especially with what happened there with him at Indy and then be where we are today.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. We'll wait and see. I wouldn't complain if Blaney is a champion. Again, I like that guy. I love the way he drives.
Me either.
We have run out of time, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for being with us. Get your umbrella. Head to the racetrack. We'll get some races in this weekend right there in Daytona, and we'll see you next week right here on Trackside.
Keep the racetrack, everybody.
And with the checkered flag waving, we're wrapping up this week's edition of Trackside. Fear not, race fans, because we'll be back next week, proudly presented by Document Technologies. Tune in for a fresh new episode packed with engaging interviews, captivating conversations, and all the exhilarating moments you've come to expect. Until then, keep the racing spirit alive, and we'll see you next time on Trackside.